Hello students. So in the previous lecture we discussed about that what is the momentum, and we also discussed the Newton's first law of motion. And in the momentum we also discussed that how the momentum varies for the two bodies of mass different and velocities are also different, and we also compare the momentum, velocity and mass for different cases. And today we will discuss about the Newton's second law of motion. So Newton's second law of motion, that suppose that m be the mass of object, u initial velocity, v final velocity, and t time for which the velocity changes from u to v. So that is the requirement for this Newton's second law of motion. So therefore initial momentum pi, I mean initial momentum, is equal to mu, and final momentum pf is equal to mb. So this is the initial momentum and this is the final momentum. Therefore how the momentum is going to be changed? pf minus pi, that is equal to m is common, v minus u. So that is pf minus pi is equal to m into v minus u. So according to Newton's second law of motion, the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to force, and the change takes place in the direction of force. So in the important word is rate of change. Rate of change means some physical quantity is going to be changed with time. That is the meaning of rate. So what physical quantity? I am saying that rate of change of momentum. It means that momentum is going to be changed with time. So therefore this implies dp d, we can say that pf minus pi over with time t, that is from 0 to t, is directly proportional to force applied. That is rate of change of momentum, mean change of momentum with time is directly proportional to force applied. It means that F is equal to K P PF minus PI over T. So therefore if PF I am writing, so therefore F is directly proportional to PF minus PI. So what is PF? That is equal to MB, and what is PI? That is equal to MU. So therefore F is equal to K into M into B minus U over T. What we already discussed, that here you see, if you see here, that is B minus U over T, that is change in velocity over time, and we know that change in velocity over time is called acceleration. So therefore we can say that rate of change of velocity is called acceleration, but m is remain fixed. So F is equal to Km into A. From where the A comes? It comes because A is equal to B minus U over T, but K is equal to 1. The value of constant of proportionality, K is equal to 1. So therefore F is equal to ma. Thus this is the formula for the force, that F is equal to ma, and that is a very important derivation in point of examination point of view, because in 9th standard it comes 2 to 3 times maximum times. So I think it is clear to all of you that how we can write that F is equal to m into a. Now next, if no force acting on the object, अगर फोर्स जरा भी नहीं है, if no force, suppose let me cite this one with the help of one example that your father is driving the car and you are sitting with your father. In that case you can see that if we accelerate the car, so in that case acceleration will be there by speeding that car, and for that force has to be applied. So by applying the force, acceleration will be there. It means that velocity is going to be increase, either increase or either decrease if deceleration is there. So if acceleration is there, it means that force is there. So if F is equal to 0, it means that acceleration will also be equal to 0. So how it is possible? If F is equal to 0, acceleration is equal to 0. If acceleration is equal to 0, means acceleration is not going to be changed. So it means that we know that V minus U is equal to AT, or yeah, V is equal to U plus AT. If A is equal to 0, therefore V is equal to U. So it means that velocity is remain as constant, that number is constant. So but I want to say that if suppose that the car is, your father is driving the car and the car is moving with a constant velocity of 60 km/h, in that case the acceleration will be 0 because force will be 0. So it is only possible this case that if no external force applied on that particular car, so in that case acceleration is 0, so velocity will be constant. That is either body may be at rest or body will continue to move with a constant velocity. So these are the special cases that we can discuss, that if acceleration is equal to 0, then velocity is equal to constant. Next is unit of force. So unit of force. So as you know that the force is discovered by the Newton, so unit will be Newton, NEW Newton, and the symbol will be capital N, that is in SI system, and dyne, DYN, and name is dyne, DYN, in CGS system. So these are the units of force in SI system and in CGS system. So next, how to define 1 Newton? So we know that 1 Newton is equal to 1 kilogram into 1 meter per second square. From here it comes, we know that F is equal to m into A. So F is equal to Newton, mass is written as kilogram, and acceleration is written as 1 meter per second square, because these are the units. So what we can say that? We can say that force is said to be 1 Newton if a mass of 1 kg accelerated with an acceleration of 1 meter per second square. So that is called the definition of 1 Newton, that force is said to be 1 Newton if a car is accelerated with an acceleration of 1 meter per second square for a unit mass, that is 1 kg. We can similarly define 1 dyne. So what is the definition of 1 dyne? Just replace 1 kilogram, because that is in CGS. So in CGS, kilogram is replaced by gram, into 1 meter is replaced by centimeter, and second square remain as it is. Why? Because the unit of time in both SI and in CGS system is remain same. So that is why 1 dyne is equal to 1 gram into 1 centimeter per second square. So force is said to be one dyne. That is the definition of force, that is one dyne in term of CGS system. So force is said to be one dyne if a mass of 1 gram is accelerated with an acceleration of 1 centimeter per second square. So this is the definition of 1 Newton and 1 dyne, that is in SI system and in CGS system. Next is because when we discuss the SI system and CGS system, definitely these two system of units are related to one another. So what is the relation between 1 Newton and 1 dyne? Let me share with you that how they are related. It is already discussed, but let me share again that 1 Newton we already discussed now is equal to 1 kilogram into 1 meter per second square. So what do we have to do? We have to convert SI into CGS. SI into CGS system. So in CGS system, 1 gram is equal to 1000 gram and 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter per second square. So that is equal to how many zeros are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 10 raised to power 5 gram centimeter per second square. So which is equal to 10 raised to power 5 dyne. So therefore 1 Newton is equal to 10 raised to power 5 dyne. So this is the relation between Newton and dyne. Next is, as we discuss the momentum for two bodies, let us discuss also the force for two bodies. So if for two bodies, F1 is equal to M1A1 and F2 is equal to M2A2. So this implies F1 F over F2 is equal to M1A1 over M2A2. So what is F1, 1 and 2, 2? It means that we have two objects, that is M1 and M2. That is 10 kg and 5 kg, just like that. And acceleration, different acceleration is there for these two bodies, that is A1 and A2. If acceleration is different, so definitely force will also be differ. So that is F1 and F2. So if we discuss the three cases, that is M1 is equal to M2. So therefore F1 over F2 is equal to A1 over A2. So what is the meaning of this? That if mass of the two objects remain same, so in that case a body whose acceleration is more, force will also be more. Why? Because they are directly proportional to 1 1 in the numerator and 2 2 in the denominators. So therefore F is directly proportional to acceleration provided m is equal to constant. Second case, A1 is equal to A2. If in both the cases acceleration is remain same, so F1 over F2 is equal to M1 over M2. So again F is directly proportional to M. Similar case only A is replaced with M, provided A is equal to constant. And third case, if force is remain same, if F1 is equal to F2 is equal to F. So in this case these forces get cancelled, so therefore M1 A1 is equal to M2 A2. So A1 over A2 is equal to M2 over M1. So therefore A is inversely proportional to M. So acceleration जो है inversely proportional to mass होता है. It means that if mass will be more, so acceleration will be less, provided the force acting on these two objects is remain same. So this is all about Newton's second law of motion, and in the next lecture we will discuss about the application part of Newton's second law of motion, and we will also discuss the Newton's third law of motion. I think you definitely enjoy when you see this video. And one more thing, if you watch more time, understanding will be more. If you watch it less time, so definitely that will affect your study also. So with this hope that you will see this video again and again, so that you are able to understand the concepts very clearly. So with these words, thank you very much.